Okay, sorry, here we go. Welcome back. We're going to do now the word problems of the proportion and percent setup. And for this first one, the weight of a nickel is 80% of the weight of a quarter. So you can still set this up as a percent. So you know that 80 is going to go over the 100 like this. And then if it says if a nickel weighs 5 grams, that would be here, how much does a quarter weigh? Therefore, your x is going here. So when we cross multiply and divide, 5 times 100 is 500 divided by the 80. Oh, there it is. You'll get 6.25. So the weight of the quarter will be 6.25 grams. Trying the next one. You can still set it up as a proportion. Here we go. A dime weighs 50% as much as a nickel does. What is the weight of a dime? So now that we know that the nickel is 6.25, your x is now here. So we're going to cross multiply and divide. Yep, 6.25 times that 100 and divide that by 50. Oops, divide that by 50. You get 12.5. So this one answer would be 12.5. Now, I will tell you the word problems that you have in your final exam are going to be nowhere near as difficult as the word problems that you are seeing here. So don't freak out. You'll be fine. Let's try number 17. All right. This one, let's see how much you remember. A bike is on sale for $170. This is an 80%. This is 80% of the regular price. Find the regular price. Okay, so you know your 80 is going to go here. Your 100 is here. Find the regular price. That's here. 170. Regular or original price, that's going to go with the bottom that's here. Remember that was the of, okay? So you're going to cross multiply and divide the 170 times 100, divide that by 80. Okay, so this is telling us x is equal to 21.25. That is not the regular price. That's what you need to add on to the 170. So add that on to the 170. So it should look like this. $170 plus the amount that was discounted off. Okay, so when you add those two together, 191.25. The bike originally was 191.25. All right, let's go for number 18, see what we have. During a flu epidemic, 140 students out of the 680 who attended Lincoln Middle School were absent. What percent were absent? Well, 100, we're looking for a percent, right? So it's during a flu epidemic, 146 students out of the 680. So that 680 is on the bottom of your fraction. Your 146 is here. You're trying to figure out what is the percent for 146. So again, this is one where you're going to cross multiply divide. 146 times 1 to 100. Just add the two zeros on and then divide that by the 680. And you'll get about 21.47% of the students had the flu. Okay, next one. Carl spent 17 hours in a 2-week period practicing her, Carol, not Carl, spent 17 hours in a 2-week period practicing her culinary skills. How many hours does she practice in 5 weeks? Okay, so these are the fractions which you're comparing two things. So these are not going to be the ones that have the 100% at the bottom of it, because here you can tell you're comparing two things, hours to weeks. See that? So I will label my first part, let me make it clearer by putting it up here, hours, and then weeks. So I have hours, 17, to weeks. You see this one is 2. How many hours does she practice in 5 weeks? Remember, we have to keep weeks to weeks, hours to hours. So you know your x is here. But the process is still the same. You're going to cross multiply and divide. So you have 17 times 5 and then divide that by the 2. So x is going to equal 42.5. So how many hours does she practice in 5 weeks? She practices 42.5 hours in that week. The thing about these type of questions, you're going to have only like one or two of them, is that you need to realize when you're not setting it up like this. Ones that do not require the 100%. And please read the directions carefully because there will be clues in the final exam on which type of setup you're looking for. Ones that require the 100, like the one we did above here, right? Or ones that in which you are comparing, okay? So the ones that you are going to use the 100, remember that means percent. So there will be the percent word problems, and these will be the proportion word problems. Your test will be labeled, so watch out for those, okay? Let's see, what else we have? So this one, in the year 2000, there were 8.7 deaths per 1,000 residents in the United States. If there were 281,421,906 residents in the U.S. during 2000, how many people died that year? Well, we're looking at people versus death. Let me do this one down here. People. Death. Here we go. 8.7 deaths. Oh, that's 8.7 deaths per 100 residents, or 1,000, excuse me, per 1,000 residents or people. You can make that R for residents if that makes it easier. If there were 281,421,906 residents, so that number goes up here with the residents or people. How many people died that year? So we're looking for the deaths. Again, we're going to cross multiply and divide with these large numbers. Same process. $8.7 times 281,421,906. Oh yeah. Divided by. Oh, let me clear that out. I don't know if my calculator goes that high. Hold on. 8.7 times 281,421. Is that right? Million. 906. Whew. Equals. Okay. And then divide that by 1,000. There's a lot of deaths. So X equals 2,448,371 amount of deaths. Going to the next one. Still a proportional type of problem. Let's see if you can figure out what we're setting up in these two. All right, then a shipment of 400 parts, 14 are found to be defective. How many defective parts should be expected in a shipment of 1,000? All right, so here you have parts to the defects. 400, 14. 414. How many defects should be expected in a shipment of 1,000? Well, this one is easier than the one without the deaths. Numbers are lower. So 14 times the 1,000. Divide that by your 400. In this case, X equals 35. So, how many defective parts should be expected in a shipment of 1,000? 35. And last one with a proportion. You know how to throw one with a fraction here. And again, don't freak out because this review is actually harder than the problems you'll be receiving on the test. Joseph drives 120 miles in 2.5 hours. At the same rate, how far will we be able to drive in 6 hours? So, we have miles and then by the hour. Anyone y'all seen a YouTube video or whatever of some guy and his girlfriend are driving and she couldn't figure out how long it took to drive 80 miles per hour. It was hilarious. Ask me about it tomorrow after the exam. It was funny. I'll just show it to you. She could not figure out how long it took to drive 80 miles per hour. Hilarious. And if some of y'all are scratching your heads right about now, disappointed. Miles, 125 and 2.5. Don't have to keep this one a fraction 4. Remember, 1/2 is 0.5. At the same rate, how far will we be able to drive? In 6 hours. So that hours is going here. Your x is with the miles. Again, same process, cross multiply and divide. So we have our 125 times 6 and divide that by 2.5. 300 is the answer for that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is stop this video here because the next section is one-step equations, and I'm going to quickly go through those. I'll do a few of them, and then the 2 steps, and then the multi-steps in order to get more videos out tonight. All right, see you on the next one.